Greetings, minions of the almighty evil, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of a new series playing Dungeons 4. If you would like to skip the game's overview, please use YouTube chapters. Dungeons 4 is a real-time strategy game where you play as the villain and build up a well-protected dungeon to assault the surface inhabited by the forces of good. It incorporates constant jokes, quips, and humor into its cutscenes and farcical campaign, while also introducing dynamic challenges and achievements. And I will be playing the single-player campaign on the difficulty. So let's get started, without a further ado.
Once upon a time, long ago in, well, you know the rest, the absolute evil had, in the fabulous predecessor to this game, taken over the entire overworld with its creatures. Now it spent its time on debauched parties and... Wait a minute. The entire overworld? No! One small village of indomitable heroes still held out against the invaders. The unamused evil was beside itself with rage. But all this was about to change once and for all, because the remote controlling evil sent its most vicious general into the field, the dark elf Talia. Talia, also known from the fabulous predecessor, came back from her vacation in a thoroughly good mood. Before that, she had defeated her foster father, the paladin Thanos. This fact is important to note. For this last remaining village of heroes was protected by none other than Tristan, foster son of Thanos and Talia's stepbrother. This proud warrior in shining, his handsome heroic chest accentuating armor, was the last glimmer of hope for the forces of good. Talia, who had fully embraced the dark side, couldn't wait to really kick her stepbrother's ass. And so our story begins.
All right.
The last defenders of good were fighting for their survival. This seemed to be the perfect time for Tristan to make his appearance, the last mighty hero of the good races.
My brothers! In your eyes I see the same fear that would lead me to despair. The day may come when the courage of true heroes is extinguished, when we abandon our companions and all bonds of friendship are broken. But that day is still far off. Stand fast, heroes of the West!
And with those familiar-sounding words, Tristan charged into battle to the cheers of his men. The heroes of good had managed to capture some of the evil creatures. Nevertheless, it was more than questionable whether a few minor victories and a brilliant speech could do anything against the absolute evil's armies. A storm of darkness and gloom descended, heralding the arrival of Talia, the absolute evil's general. This entrance not only panicked the defenders of good, but also seemed to strengthen the creatures of evil.
Hey, I'm back! Time to kick a little hero butt. Forward, creatures! Show me what you can do! Punch 'em smack dab in the mouth! Smash 'em in the face! Oh, and just as a precaution, get me my handbook of worn-out third-rate catchphrases. Ha-ha! If my eyes don't deceive me, that's my stupid stepbrother Tristan over there too, just waiting for me to lovingly put his head on a spear. Ha! Today is gonna be a good day.
Talia seemed to be very sure of victory. Some might find this puzzling, as it was the beginning of a long new campaign. But okay, maybe the rest of the missions are nothing but a string of debauched victory celebrations, who knows?
All right. Press left mouse to select Talia, or hold left mouse to draw a selection frame. And we can issue movements or attacks right-clicking. And I'll be going over the tutorial.
Pitiful opponents. I'm gonna massacre you. If I can just remember how that works again.
Fortunately, Talia's instincts took over at this point, something which wannabe pro gamers often refer to as auto-attack. Talia also remembered that she had a few skills that she could invoke whenever she felt like it.
Oh, right. Boom! That's how it's done.
A lot of the UI elements, the tutorial will go over in due time, so I'm not going to cover them. I'm only going to really be showing you as they become relevant.
I get that. I'm the only one who's allowed to do.
Talia's mighty storm once again stood at her disposal.
Make it a little bit louder. I always struggle to try to figure out exactly the right volume.
You have destroyed a cage.
Alright, clicking on the cage, freeze the minions.
Not to be outdone by her stepbrother, she too gave a brilliant speech.
Speech? Sure. Creatures! Time to punch the do-gooders right in the kisser! Forward! Punch them in the face, kick them in the shins, break their belt buckles so they trip on their pants!
Yes. Very inspiring.
So, F1 selects Talia, F2 selects everyone, F3 is melee only, and F4 is ranged only. And there's also control groups.
She goaded her creatures on one more time.
Another speech? Oh. Ding dong, the hero's dead. That okay?
Honestly, I don't know if I can work with you like this. After Talia's words, the creatures surged forward and flocked to their linguistically under-talented leader, or right to, but the defenses on the left and right flanks made progress impossible. The hero's left defensive flank could no longer withstand the breaching evil's creatures.
So I'm just using Talia because she's overpowered right now, as this is really just an intro cutscene that you kind of play to destroy the flanks.
Evil's creatures flocked to Talia.
Excellent. I can always use more cannon fodder.
And now we try to kick Tristan's butt. Hitting F, as in Foxtrot, is like an attack move where you just attack everything on your way to the target's point. And now Tristan is back here. I'll use the tentacle skill just to destroy. Oh, bye-bye. And don't worry, on difficulty, it gets a lot harder than this. This is just, of course, like the intro cutscene.
After killing our foster father.
Yeah. Is that a trick question? You can see I'm here. Talos deserved what he got. And I thought to myself, hey, like father and son.
You will pay for your deeds, sister. The light will protect me. Sister, turn from evil and come back to the side of good. See the power of light.
With these words, Tristan was bathed in a golden light that seemed to protect him. As if that were not troublesome enough, a number of magical portals opened at the same time.
As if this wasn't dragging on way too long already. Can't we just jump straight to the point where I greedily take over the world? Forward, creatures! Smash the portals! Flatten that magic junk! Pull the plug!
My brothers! In your eyes, I see the same fear that would lead me to despair. The day may come when the courage of true heroes is extinguished, when we abandon our companions and all bonds of friendship are broken. But that day is still far off. Stand fast, heroes of the West!
Oh, didn't you spout that same bullshit earlier? In exactly the same words?
No, not at all. I am known for my brilliant speeches. wicked stepsister.
I seem to remember that whenever you were supposed to speak in front of the class, we had to get a moment.
You'll pay for that. Onward, faithful! Destroy the evil!
So he's invulnerable until we destroy these golden portals. They're gone, so now we kick his butt.
And with them, Tristan's shield went up in smoke.
That's the way I like it. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. I was just about to kick my stepbrother's butt.
Sister, it doesn't have to end this way. Join me. Together we can still save the world.
Oh, can't you just die and spare us all the embarrassing melodrama?
Talia, this isn't the end. We'll meet again.
With these words, Tristan quickly created a portal and threw himself through it with the last of his strength. The portal closed again behind him.
Treachery! Fraud! Cheater! This was supposed to be my victory! And what the hell kind of glove is that anyway? Looks to me like game design forgot to balance the thing properly.
Maybe the people in charge were still too captivated by your great speech. It brought tears to my eyes too, however, not of emotion.
As if the bird brains these evil creatures have needed grand speeches. A few skulls to bash in, and the social calendar for the evening is filled.
Well, each to their own. But apparently, Tristan had suffered a mishap, as the aforementioned magic glove still lay in the place where it was last used. It would seem that he had accidentally lost it.
Wonderful. This thing is just what I need. Très chic. I'll, just grab that right away.
And so our story begins.
Okay. That was the start of the campaign. Got all 3 achievements. I'm not even sure what they were. Do the mission, don't let her die, and kill heroes while Fury is active. There was an active ability in the top right. The game was talking a lot, so I wasn't able to cover it, but the active ability made her stronger.
Tristan had managed to give Talia the slip, but she had been able to capture his magic glove. The Gauntlet of Finitude, a fabled artifact. Unfortunately, UI overlays don't work in cutscenes, so Talia couldn't read just exactly what the glove did. Nevertheless, she proudly presented it to the Absolute Evil in its form as the Dungeon Lord. And so misfortune took its course, because at the same time, Talia wanted to demonstrate how loudly she could snap her fingers. But this snap, which would go down in the history books as the Dungeon Lord snap, unleashed horrific forces that were discharged into the Dungeon Lord himself. As Talia rose to her feet, the gauntlet had disappeared, and the Dungeon Lord lay dying. Viewers often began to cry at this point, because it made them think back to the last really good superhero movie. Talia mourned for about 5 seconds. Talia had shattered the realms of good and served them onto the absolute evil on a silver platter, while it had actually done nothing at all. So Talia now became the absolute ruler. She had no clue about how to rule, but more than made up for it with hubris and consistently ignoring glaring problems. In addition, she surrounded herself with a staff of incompetent advisors. What could possibly go wrong? 10 minutes later, Tristan had captured Talia, locked her in a cage, and put the armies of absolute evil to flight. And so the story ends. We'll tell you how the story continues in overpriced microtransaction bites. Oh, wait, Wait, wrong script. That's a different developer. Hang in there, I've almost got it. While Talia was ignominiously taken away, the unused essence of absolute evil continued to float through the ether. It wasn't about to admit defeat that easily, but for evil to triumph once again, it needed Talia back, for better or for worse. And so the swirling essence of absolute evil set about commanding the perplexed-looking chaotic hordes and freeing Talia. Hammer time, round 2. The essence of absolute evil held the horde together and rose to the challenge of vicious dwarven engineering.
Thank you for the raid, Agent number 2. Or number 1, sorry. I got the numbers wrong. I'm reading Hammer Time round 2, and, well, you see how that went. You were also playing Dungeons 4? Sweet! I've actually nuked my campaign progress, but as you can see, I've already played some of these. I've played, I don't know, 5 or 6, something like that. And yeah, it is a lot of fun. Well, let's get going with Hammer Time. And welcome the Agent number 1 community. I have 2 of my 3 dogs here. We got Yoda. Hey, Yoda, look up. I'll snap and we'll delete the absolute evil. And then I've got the lazy one, Tusk. Oh, whoop. Nope, sorry. Someone took over my my camera. So we're looking at Yoda now. All right, so Hammer Time round 2. As you can see, I have not done the Trap Master achievement here, so I'm going to try for that. So what are we going to be doing? Any difficulty, have at least 10 creatures, and kill heroes with traps. Got it. Well, let's do it.
Tristan! Let me out of this damned cage, you stupid little good elf. Otherwise, I'll have a hard time wringing your scrawny neck. What the hell do you want from me anyway?
Talia, stepsister, your deplorable deeds must not go unpunished. You have slain our foster father, Tanos, a blasphemous affront to our goddess, whom you, to top it all off, have also slain. But we will have plenty of time to argue on our journey. I am here for the stone. Brynhild, if you please.
You know you can, you little cutie. Oi! Go on, you lazy lot. Get that destroyer of worlds class hammer going.
Talia had been captured. Only the bubbling around the place essence of absolute evil could save her. It was amusing to leave Talia in the clutches of her brother. But on the other hand, without her help, the shapeless evil would probably just roam the countryside as a disembodied something or other, and at best be hired for third-rate horror movies. Fortunately, a forgotten dungeon heart lying in the underground could quickly be reactivated. Together with the creatures of the Horde, it would be easy to smash the do-gooder heroes there to smithereens. The wafty evil had to get rid of that dwarven contraption on the overworld, as it posed a threat to the underground, and with it, the dungeon heart. It was therefore necessary to build a mighty dungeon, or rather, to have one built, because as a wafting essence, the disembodied evil could not do much itself.
So, the core of this game is that you have a dungeon heart, and generally, with these missions, if your dungeon heart gets destroyed, you lose. So now that we're in an actual mission, I'll start explaining the UI. You've got research here, which unlocks stuff. In the campaign, you are restricted to a subset of the research. So we, for instance, in this campaign, don't have demons or undead. We only have horde. And then in the next campaign, it will be like demons, and then undead, and then, you know, it kind of gets more unlocked as time goes on. M is your army screen, showing your troops. I have none. And what creatures you can recruit. And I don't have a barracks for the horde, so I can't recruit any. Then you also have traps. So doors help to make certain rooms more efficient. And then traps help to kill encroaching heroes. So, sort of fundamentally, the way this works is you exist underground, where you build up your lair, and you send your forces onto the surface to accomplish the campaign objectives. Usually the campaign objectives are on the surface. So the surface map is on the bottom left, over yonder, that way, where we have like 2 hero tents and then the objective here, and then this is the underground. And likewise, the forces of good on the surface will send incursions down to mess with you in your dungeon. So you can use traps and the like to stop them. And then the last one is buildings. So we have got the Vault of Evilness, which contains evilness. Evilness is sort of like a like research currency. Money is paid out to your army and also used to hire army units, and then mana is used for spellcasting. There is no spellcasting in this first campaign. And it wants us to build a treasury of at least 5x5. So treasuries are where your gold can be stored, and it allows you to increase your gold maximum. So in order to do that, we have to research treasury. So treasury is in dungeon style research, so we got to click this once to unlock the projects of a level 1 dungeon, and then click treasury. Done. And then build a 5x5 treasury around the gold veins. So these gold veins are a dense source of gold, allowing us to like fund our attacks.
The meager amount that could be stored in the throne room was simply not even close to enough for a proper gold bath.
Yeah, interesting concept with 2 layers. Agreed. Alright, so the next is build a hideout and build a gobbler farm. So let's do both. So gobbler farm allows you to feed some of your troops, not all troops eat. And then a hideout is a horde building here that allows you to start recruiting horde units. And then I'm just going to unlock orcs, which are tanky melee horde units. So the gobbler farm needs to be at least 5x5. There it is. And then a hideout. I think. And the hideout should be 6x6. I'll put it over here. Oh, nope, there's gold in there. So let's not go that way.
Gobbler farm. Here, delicious gobblers were raised to serve as food.
Oh, it wants me to put it here. Okay, that'll work. Well, when you're digging around like this, you can see if there's like special resources by selecting it. So there's a huge gold node here. So if I run out of gold in my current treasury, there's a giant amount of gold here. Digging around here, it's worth mentioning, the dark stone is undiggable. And then sometimes you've got natural resources in stone like gold. So for instance, if I wanted to, let's say, get this gold, I could mine here, and then I can fill it back in with the insert key. You can sort of place rocks as well. So it's not just excavation. You can replace it, and I'll show that in a second. Dead Dodo, thank you for the resub. So hitting insert, and we'll fill that up with stone. Are there infinite jewel veins in this? I've only played maybe like 5 or 6 of the campaigns and never got like an infinite vein, so I'm not sure. And there it is. Now it's filled back in. All right, so with our hideout, it wants us to own at least 6 creatures. So I'm going to unlock Naga as well. Nagas are like healers, and once we get our hideout built, I will recruit them. So each type of unit behaves a little bit differently. Orcs, or the horde, I should call them, when they die, they're dead. Whereas the other types of enemies, like demons, can be resummoned through portals, and undead can be resurrected in a graveyard. Orcs, or the horde rather, heal. So it's good to make sure to have enough healers for them. Whereas if you're going with undead or demons, you can just kind of have them kamikaze if you want.
For the horde's creatures. These could henceforth build themselves a place to rest there. The army raising evil had recruited its first creature, a bit underwhelming considering that it was sitting on the throne of the gods a short time ago. But fresh starts are never easy. The evilest evil could use the Hand of Terror, not only to intervene, but also to lend its little snots the impetus they needed by giving them a spirited slap.
So you can slap your little workers, your little snots. Depending on your research, it makes them work faster.
Such as exploring new stuff. However, first, a place had to be found where the evilness could be stored. The absolute evil quickly built a vault of evilness.
Okay, so let's get the Vault of Evilness going. The Vault of Evilness will allow us to store evilness so that we can spend it in research points. So some of the research here only costs gold, as you can see, like this one. I'll just keep upgrading that. And then others will require evilness. So we'll hit some research projects that are like evilness required. Like level 2 orcs, which will give them Berserker Rage, requires 50 evilness. So the evilness is earned by killing enemies, destroying enemy buildings, fulfilling goals, that kind of thing. So building a Vault of Evilness will give us 150 evilness. And there's a huge chunk of evilness just sitting right here, ready to be banked once we have a spot for it. Mousing over, we've already collected 150 evilness, so that's 150 evilness just sitting there waiting to be banked. But there, at present, is no place to put it. Alright, so Vault of Evilness, boom. And these can be upgraded as well, your treasuries and your Vaults of Evilness, to have more resource density, so that you can store more gold or evilness in a specific area.
Evil had built a vault of evilness.
Okay.
This allowed it to henceforth store evilness and use it.
All right.
Oi! No need to sit around being lazy when we could be picking up a little gold while we're here, eh? On you go, lads. Grab the nearest gold vein.
Sooner or later, the greedy dwarves would dig their way into the dungeon. The perfidious evil used a workshop to prepare traps to stop the gold-stealing dwarves in their tracks.
So, in this specific mission, I am tasked with killing heroes with traps. So that's exactly what I intend to do. These dwarves are digging towards me, and initially I'll probably use my orcs and naga to kill them. But eventually we're going to want to train to build traps in order to have the traps take care of it, to fulfill that last achievement. Glitch, thank you for the bits. So here I'm building a workshop. Workshops is a currency that you'll see in the top right here.
Could use the work units to make toolboxes, which were needed for the more extravagant dungeon accoutrements.
So yeah, these Rhadamants will be used to make toolboxes, which are used to set up traps, build doors, that kind of thing. And the efficiency of a room is dependent on how many open tiles it shares. So, for instance, this hideout is 90% because there's only one entryway. But if we manage to put a door in there, it will raise it up to 100%. So I usually like to door up my workshop first, because the workshop is the thing that controls how many doors you can get. But I'll have 2 Rhadamants here, so that we can get a lot of traps, because the achievement here is to get traps. And here, my little snots are kind of reinforcing the walls, the direction that the dwarves are coming. All right, research. So we'll research floor traps and simple traps. And I'm just removing these tooltips because I've been essentially telling you what they're like. So I have a certain amount of little snots. I have 19 of them. And whenever you have buildings like this one, it sort of full-time employed as one of your little snots working at that facility, meaning that if you have too many of these things, like making traps or mana or something like that, you'll not have enough mining gold, maybe. All right, so let's start the trappage.
How long is this stone thing going to take, lads? Snookums and I were planning on dying of old age here.
I sure hope
And then there was another
because I have
achievement
a whole different
for
set of
filling up the
plans.
population
Just how
all the way
you
up
look,
to
I'm gonna die
10. So that's
here.
another thing that I'm going to want to try to do. So what I'm doing here is I'm building a thresher trap, which is like a spinning mace trap. And then here is a long hallway spike trap. I don't think that these traps are going to be built in time to manage these heroes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send, by holding F2, send my orcs to sort of stand here waiting for the dwarves to breach. But future raid parties from the dwarves will be managed by the traps.
Something dug into my little gold mine. Yeah.
And the game also gave me a bunch of free traps, which I promptly did not use, so I should have.
Focus in the lavatory. Okay, boys, tear this joint to the ground.
Dwarves had opened a passage into the dungeon. The little snots immediately executed Order 67, as they had been instructed to do by Talia.
This is telling me the events on the event bar up top left, telling me that there's something interesting to look at and fighting in the dungeon.
At the same time,
Kind of your alert
opened a
system,
secret
if you will.
cache, so that the tricky evil could give the dwarves a very warm welcome.
All right, so we have some extra achievements here. Research gnomes, own more creatures, so let's do that. Here is gnomes. Oh no, gnomes are here. So in order to research gnomes, we need to get more gold.
Boy, did you little honey buns forget your little baby bottles? Or how did you manage to lose to a bunch of lousy orcs? But boy, we still have some reinforcements here. Reinforcements? Attack!
Obviously, the danger from the dwarves had not yet been neutralized. Luckily, the little snots had made a few traps in their spare time, and they were only too happy to make available to the all-consuming evil.
So here are some thresher traps, knocking around these pyros. Let's put in blade hallway
Was
traps.
perfectly suited for cutting tree trunks, but since they wouldn't become a resource until Dungeons 5, it would have to settle for dwarves for now.
And then I hope that we manage to kill these heroes with traps. Maybe? Alright, at least one of them died from traps. Here, I'll put another
Another sword trap
buzzsaw hallway
halfway
here.
up to be even more effective against
And another spike floor. Because, of course, the achievement is to kill 10 of them with traps, and I'd like to do that, because I didn't do that in playtesting.
the sword trap's blades whirred along the wall, just waiting for.
And then we
blood
do
to
have
slice
these
the
free
heroes,
hamster wheels of
whichever
death.
came first.
I forget how to rotate, though. 1 second. Rotate work unit. Oh, well, that might not be a work unit. Oh, no, it is. Won't let me place it there.
Your throne room is under attack.
Oh, whoops. One of those dwarves got through. Don't destroy my dungeon heart. When you pick up your units, they are temporarily stunned. So you should be careful about, you know, dropping them right into combat. So, research gnome, done. And that gave me a little bit more evilness. It wants me to recruit more units. So I'll save up for a gnome. There we go. And I'm just trying to heavily invest in traps because of the achievement. Normally, I wouldn't have this many.
Payday.
But yeah, this should do pretty good against the next group. All right. Some other improvements that we can make is doors for rooms that have efficiency, gobbler farm, etc. As I expand the horde's population, up at the top right, you can see how many gobblers we have. So I'm going to expand the gobbler farm just so that we have enough food for them.
A gold vein is almost a hamster wheel of death had been put in position. Heroes who stepped on the trigger would definitely be anything but happy.
Alright, I'm trying to build up the terrain to properly use the hamster wheel of death. Oh, snots, watch out. Here comes some new dwarves. Thunk. How'd that feel? Pretty bad, right? I think we got him. So other achievements. I have some more creatures owned. Sure. Let's get some goblins too. Don't want to leave them out of the fun. They're also nice and cheap. So the goblins are like little rogues. They don't get attacked unless there are no other targets nearby. So they're like damage dealers that work pretty well with orcs. And then gnomes throw bombs. Extremely short range, but area damage. And then Naga, of course, are the healers. Before I forget, expand the gobbler farm, because right now the efficiency is really low. So the efficiency right now is 50% because I've like knocked down a wall, but I didn't actually fill it in. So as I build here, the efficiency will go up to 100%. Done. And that raises the capacity and allows us to make sure that the horde stays fed. Now the gold in the treasury that I have right now is running low. There's only one vein left in the middle. So I'm going to start mining over here where there's a giant node of gold, and probably going to move the treasury over here at some point to make sure that we have enough gold to pay our troops. Smush. Love it. Who even needs other traps when you have the hamster wheels of death? So now I'm just engineering it so these hamster wheels of death absolutely just crush anyone coming in. So these are slime traps that slow them down, yeah. Slows heroes down by 75% for 6 seconds. And the other thing I could do is, of course, put some additional slime up here. And do it sort of cheaply, following the path that they like to walk. There we go. Now they have like maximum crushage from the wheels. In fact, I'll put one more wheel in, because why not? And then as soon as oh, here we go. As soon as I know that I have the achievement for killing the 10 heroes with traps, I will start to make the assault. Alright, so let's get another goblin. And then I'll do like a Naga and a gnome. Or orc. No. There we go. This room's a lot more efficient now. Stick a door on there, it will be perfect. I am going to need to make more space in the hideout if I want 10 though, so I'll expand that as well.
While a hamster wheel of death did block a little snot, it knocked down heroes in its path and dealt an unseemly amount of damage.
Yep, they missed.
Has been mined out.
It would be good if I slowed them down here, wouldn't it?
Payday! Creatures are collecting their pay.
There, maybe like that. Vinda, thank you for the sub. Yep, these dwarves are dying. They're not having a good time. Alright, so the last recruits I wanted, let's make sure that the hideout is expanded so that we don't have inefficiencies. So the efficiency of your hideout is like how fast that they heal when they're hurt. I could have them zigzag, yeah. I could have done that. It doesn't really matter as long as I kill 10. The easier level campaign is just not, in my opinion, like hard enough to necessarily warrant min-maxing. That doesn't come into play until a bit later on. So I have not gotten Trap Master yet. Should be coming soon. But there we go. Got horde population of 10. And this might be the last of the push of heroes for me to get that achievement, and then I'll go on the warpath. Get threshed. Oh, that was weird. So the Thresher was just like, huh, give you a pass. All right, some other research to do. Improving my Naga and the Horde in general. So that there, Horde level 3 just gives me room for another creature. And then the Naga have longer range for healing. Oh, look at this Pyro set my guys on fire. Just so rude. I am running out of patience for these guys to die. So I'm just going to nuke some of this stuff just so that they die faster. It seemed like this Thresher didn't even work, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And I have room for one more, so let's go with the last orc. Pyro's just going ham on my snots. Oh, you don't think they reloaded in time? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was probably it. I mean, they are getting set on fire. I have a hard time believing I haven't triggered Trapmaster. But I think what I'll do is I will start clearing out the dwarves. So I'm right-clicking the enemies here to be targeted by my troops. And when I see a patrol, I'll pick my orcs up, my horde up, and get them out of the way so we can keep killing them with traps. Plop them in that room for now. Are they coming? No, I thought they were coming. Oh, here's some goat riders that are queuing up to attack. Maybe I'll just go for maximum damage.
day?
Alright, I think that's a patrol coming. Drop my troops out of the way. Traps are nice and reloaded and ready for this group. Alright. What other research we got? Newly hired horde creatures start out with a higher level. Goblins within 5 meters of an orc do more damage, sure. Unlocks kaboom skill, stronger, just all the horde. For the horde, I guess. Alright. If I don't end up getting this achievement soon, because I do feel like I've already hit the 10, I'm just going to clear the map and not worry too much about it in lieu of making actual campaign progress. Achievements are fun and all, but not at the cost of getting stuck. Okay, so send my horde in. My snots are getting killed pretty good. I only have 12 of 19. Just because they've been getting, like, flamed and everything. Trying to reload the traps around these enemies. But, you know, they're subordinates for a reason. And they're getting smoked. Actually, you know what? We'll, don't go that way. We'll kill them all. We'll dig through here. So this is stone that we can dig through to kill this group. Might as well kill everyone we can. All right. Oh, here's a patrol. Oh, no, move, you little snot. See if the death of this patrol is enough. I made sure that my horde didn't ambush them. Okay, we had to have hit 10. I guess it doesn't show you credit until the round's over. So, we'll destroy the Dwarven Arcstone, or whatever that is, and get up to the surface and destroy the hammer. My Naga are unamused, and they're just, like, leaving the fight. Naga, you're going the wrong way. I don't care if you're tired.
The dwarves were defeated for the time being. Satisfied, the essence of absolute evil rubbed something together that could perhaps pass the two hands.
So now we're on the surface. So the challenge between the ground and the surface is I can't just scoop up all my units and move them as I please while on the surface. So if the surface dwellers send in an attack or an incursion while all of my troops are on the surface, then it's up to the traps to do the work.
But also to the lush green meadows of the overworld.
And generally speaking, for campaign design, most of the evilness that you're going to get is going to be from the overworld.
And tried to entrench themselves behind even higher walls.
So if you want to min-max, which isn't necessarily necessary on this specific campaign because it's not hard enough, there is like villagers and crates, and there's ways to get a lot of evilness. There's even like locked up allies up here.
It's payday.
And a lot of the maps will have this kind of concept of like, you can gain reinforcements, you just have to go to them.
You have destroyed a cave.
So we're technically over our population maximum, but the game allows it because campaign. All right. No room in hideout. Well, I can fix that. And then on the dungeon map, you can see that there's red steps. So this is the way up. Just leveling up my little horde here a little bit. And another camp
The
gone.
vile evil had destroyed another of the heroes' camps. Screaming at the top of their voices, the survivors took to their heels.
I have to protect the blueprints, Newcombs. Otherwise, the orcs will eventually end up building some decent machinery here. Well then, keep your chin up, Doodles.
Brynhild, what are you doing? I thought your dwarves could easily handle a few orcs.
Problems, brother mine? Oh, what a shame. I had actually already planned on making myself a tea set out of dwarf skulls.
Talia, your evilness truly knows no bounds. These dwarves are part of the Alliance of Good. You were also once part of that alliance.
All right.
The dwarves' oversized hammer lay open. The trembling heroes prepared themselves for the final battle. Your creatures have destroyed a cage.
That's a lot of pop I've got. We have enough bedding. So this is the final battle. Naga's doing a pretty good job keeping everyone else up. As you can see, the gnomes are very easy to kill, but they hang in back just far enough that they're kind of out of the range of their grenadiers, or bombardiers rather. And all I have left to do is to smush a hammer. Easy peasy. Oh, I'll kill this patrol and then smush a hammer. Oop, lost an orc. How do you gain evilness? Evilness is typically gained by either fulfilling optional quests or killing things. Killing things specifically on the surface is kind of the way to do it
The
fastest.
dwarven equipment spectacularly went up in flames, which was rather odd, as the creatures had only been hitting the thing with their weapons. But fine, perhaps horde weapons were made of flint. Yet the distraction provided by the dwarven intervention had shifted the destruction-loving evil's focus long enough for Talia and her stepbrother Tristan to disappear into the distance. With an imaginary sigh, the staggering evil took one last look around before setting off in pursuit. The path led to the Hellwoods, an eerie place claimed by the demonic creatures of the underworld.
All right. Victory. I really think I killed 10 heroes with traps. Like, I have a very hard time believing I didn't if I went back and counted them, but that's fine. Thank you for tuning in to Dungeons 4, which originally streamed live on Twitch November 14th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com or the description of this video have a link to Discord. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credit. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell.